Locked On Podcast Network and Odyssey present Locked On Sports Today.
A monstrous fourth quarter helped the Boston Celtics hand the Golden State Warriors their first postseason loss at home to open the NBA Finals. The Colorado Avalanche absolutely buried the Edmonton Oilers in Game 2 and looked like they could sweep their way to the Stanley Cup Final. And why the NFL team with the best supporting cast is the LA Chargers. I'm Peter Bukowski, starting your day with the can't-miss stories and biggest debates in sports. You're Locked On Sports Today.
Searching all major sports. Found.
Let's start with the biggest story.
The Golden State Warriors seem to have Game 1 of the NBA Finals well in hand. Then the Boston three-party started, and the Celtics became the first team in NBA Finals history to win a game by double digits after trailing by double digits going into the fourth quarter, a 40-16 quarter punctuated by a 17-0 run, and the Celtics win 120-108. Joining me from the Bay Area, from the arena, John Corrales from Locked On Celtics. And John, what was the key to that 17-0 run that really flipped this game on its head?
Well, first of all, I think they started boxing out a little bit and not giving the Warriors second chances, which crushed them in the third quarter. And obviously shot making, it's you might have heard that it's a make or miss league. And they made their shots. They were 9 of 12 from 3 in that third quarter. They come out. Jaylen Brown was spectacular in that fourth quarter. All over the place. And then the Celtics rolled with Peyton Pritchard defensively on Steph Curry, and his just energy and his ability to stay with Curry. It's an interesting kind of wrinkle here. I'm kind of curious how this is going to go for the rest of the series, because Curry's quick and it's very easy to lose him, but Pritchard's quick, and because of Curry's height, Pritchard could kind of stay with them and make life difficult. So it's an interesting little wrinkle there. And, I thought it was kind of wild that Ime Udoka stuck with Pritchard until 3.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter when Marcus Smart came in. By then, the Celtics were rolling, and Smart hit a couple of three-pointers to put this thing away. All of that conspired to a 40-16 fourth quarter for the Celtics.
And if you had Al Horford leading the Celtics in scoring with 26 in the year of our Lord 2022 in an NBA Finals game, go buy a lottery ticket right this moment. What he has done in this postseason, this whole playoffs, he was huge in the Bucs series as well, has really been remarkable. There are two ways I think you're going to look at this depending on who you root for. If you're the Warriors, you're going, the Celtics got 11 combined three-pointers from Derek White and Al Horford. That's probably not going to happen. Again, if you're a Celtics fan, you're going, okay, but Jason Tatum shot 3 for 17. That's probably not going to happen again. So how do we find some balance here moving forward?
I don't know. I don't know what the balance is going to be, because game one of a series is such a feeling out process. You don't know who's going to stay hot. You don't know who's going to stay cold. Yeah, it probably won't happen again, but you never know if Horford's going to come back and hit a couple of shots in the game two. We've seen outlier performances for 2, 3, 4 games in a row in a series like this. It's the finals. Al Horford wants that ring really bad, man. He turns 36 tomorrow. He did this all on the day before his 36th birthday. So he knows what's at stake. So maybe he will keep shooting. Maybe he won't. It's hard to say. The Celtics probably also won't let Steph Curry score 21 points in a single quarter again either. So you can go either way. Both teams have something to hang their hats on, and that's the beauty of a finals like this. The Celtics came in and stole one, but Draymond Green said after the game, we dominated this thing for 40 minutes or so. We're fine. So he's legitimate in saying that too. Game 2 is going to tell us a lot. And if the Celtics, even if they lose it, if they still play close, and they send the message like this wasn't a fluke, then we have ourselves a pretty good series.
Draymond Green, 4 points. Klay Thompson, 15 points. Jordan Poole, 9 points. Which one of those guys do the Warriors need more from to get this back on the level?
Well, I think Jordan Poole is going to be one of the guys because he's been such a game changer for them over the course of these playoffs. But it's going to be really interesting to see if he's going to be able to get going against the Celtics defense. Klay Thompson, I'm sure, is going to figure things out. I never expected anything offensively from Draymond Green. The question is going to be, can the Warriors, play more than one non-shooter at a time? And if you do, then that's going to put a lot of pressure on the rest of the guys out there. And with the Celtics defense, that really puts you're going to see a lot of loading up on Klay and Steph and those guys. But if Poole, they came up with the whole pool party lineup. Like that's a thing. So he's going to be the guy. And if he can't be the guy, then the Warriors are going to have a very, very difficult task here.
Thanks for making Locked On Sports Today your first listen. We have an important favor to ask you. We put together a survey so we can learn more about listeners like you and make your favorite Locked On podcasts even better. This is your opportunity to tell us what you like and don't like about Locked On Podcasts. Go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey right now to get started. It won't take very long, and everyone that completes a survey can qualify for a chance to win one of 10 $100 Ticketmaster gift cards. Live music is back. Let's go. To take our audience survey, go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey. Thanks for your help. Coming up, the Colorado Avalanche may already be making Stanley Cup Finals plans after rolling over the Edmonton Oilers in Game 2. Here's what to look for on BetOnline, your number one spot for all your daily gambling needs. Here are some Friday baseball lines to keep your eye on. The Marlins are home underdogs to a struggling Giants team. BetOnline likes the Giants, -143 to win. The New York Yankees, they are ridiculous home favorites against the Tigers. BetOnline has the Yanks -325 on the money line. Good gracious. And the marquee series of the weekend, the LA Dodgers against the New York Mets, favors the home team. BetOnline has the Dodgers -155 to win. BetOnline, where the game starts. Ryan Fitzpatrick, current Washington Commander and veteran of 9 NFL teams, has retired. Fitzpatrick announced his retirement via text to former teammates. Though no quarterback has ever started a game for more teams, the man known as Fitzmagic will end his career having never made the playoffs. Fitzpatrick had signed a one-year, $10 million deal with the Commanders back in March. Tom Brady ended his retirement after 40 days, but still characterizes the decision as a close one. In a roundtable that followed TNT's broadcast of the match, Brady said, "It's not that I'm not 100% committed. It's just as soon as I make the commitment to do it, it's like, all right, here we go." Brady referenced his family and those around him who are affected by his football career and who take care of him, and how the decision to continue playing becomes harder each year because of his responsibility to them. Brady is under contract for the 2022 season with no plans beyond that currently. We know that currently piece is vital here. Nike founder Phil Knight and LA Dodgers part owner Alan Smoliniski have delivered a written offer of more than $2 billion to purchase the Portland Trailblazers and plan to remain aggressive in acquiring the team. A Trailblazers spokesperson issued a statement Thursday confirming the reported offer to buy the team. The team remains not for sale, according to the spokesperson. Jody Allen, Paul Allen's sister, has been managing her brother's trust since 2018, and it is believed that part of the plan for the trust is to sell the Trailblazers, but no one knows the timetable for a sale. There have been multiple parties expressing interest in purchasing the team, but no one has the profile of Knight. He may have to go above the $2 billion, which I feel like I have to do with the Dr. Evil Pinky. And Corey Kluber dominated the Texas Rangers to give the Tampa Bay Rays a win, but Rangers fans aren't bitter about that.
Once again, the Rangers were programmed badly by the Klubot. Rangers lose 3-1 against Corey Kluber, former Rangers mediocre. I'm Bryce Patrick, host of the Locked On Rangers podcast. Corey Kluber once again did it to the Rangers, the first game that he pitched in Arlington since he no-hit the Rangers as a member of the New York Yankees. He went 6 innings in this one, which is 6 times as many innings as he pitched for the Rangers when they traded Emmanuel Clase, 116-mile-an-hour cutter-throwing bullpen genius, out to Cleveland for him that makes me lose my mind every time I see the StatCast leaders and how fast he's throwing some freaking cutters. Not a great one for Taylor Hearn in this one. Not a great day for the offense. Here's the standout accomplishments for the offense. Josh Smith, leading off in his third start in Major League Baseball, hits a leadoff double. Rangers squander it. Later on, Marcus Semien hits his first home run at home, his second homer of the season. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Multi-hit game for Jonah Heim and Adolis Garcia. Other than that, nobody really did much of freaking anything. This offense couldn't get anything done. Corey Kluber was regretfully fantastic. The bullpen did their best in this one. Solid outing from Garrett Richards and Brock Burke, producing 2 shutout innings. Brett Martin worked a shutout inning, but it didn't freaking matter. The Klubot strikes again, and once again, he feels absolutely no remorse, no emotions, only Klubot.
The Avalanche took game 1 against the Oilers in thrilling fashion, 8-6. And through the first period of game 2, it looked like we might have another classic on our hands with a 0-0 game. But then the Avs exploded in the second period for 3 goals. They added an insurance goal in the third period. They roll to a 4-0 win and take this series by the shirt collar. Joining me now from Locked On Avalanche, Chris Maselli. And Chris, what was the difference in the second period to allow Colorado to blow this game open?
They just don't stop. You know, that's their mindset is they are an offensive team that, well, they really don't have any holes. Yeah, they're an offensive minded team. They're a great defensive team. The goalie situation was the spot where it's like, okay, can they overcome it? Game 1 was just a shootout on a track field. And you would think that going into game 2, it'd be the same thing, especially with the Avs backup goalie playing in place of Darcy Kemper. So you had Pablo Francouz, and he pitches a shutout. I don't think anybody saw that coming, but no, for the Avs, they don't stop. They're relentless. And another 40 shot on goal game and 3 goals within 2 minutes. That's what this team is capable of.
We had 2 very different kinds of games. And I don't just mean one close game and one not so close game. I mean, you had one back and forth offensive minded game, and then another one predicated mostly on at least from the Avs standpoint, really good defense. Which game do you think most closely resembles the series we're going to see moving forward?
I think game 2, but with Edmonton scoring, like to shut them out does not happen very often. So
Right.
Game 1 was just one of those freakish hockey games that you get where anything that was thrown towards a goalie was going in. And both teams used both goalies in that game. And I think, you know, teams are like, okay, we got to adjust our defense. We need to play a little bit better on defense. And both teams did for the most part. I mean, if you look at Edmonton, it was just those 2 minutes. You erase those 2 minutes and it's a completely different game. So I think you'll get more of game 2 with Edmonton being a little bit more forceful on their offensive end.
We know that these are long series, even with a 2-0 lead, and especially in hockey where things can change just like that. Someone's stick knocks the puck in an infinitesimal degree direction, and all of a sudden you've got an entirely different series. But what actual adjustments do you think Edmonton can make? What, as from an Avs perspective, are you most worried of? Like, okay, well, if they get this together, they can be right back in this series in a hurry.
So what Edmonton needs to do is their depth is getting crushed by Colorado. Colorado's depth, their third and fourth lines are taking over when Edmonton's third and fourth lines are out on the ice. That needs to change for Edmonton. Colorado is doing just fine. All 4 lines are producing very well for Colorado. The top guys in Edmonton, you know, your Dreisaitl's and McDavid's and even Evander Kane, like those guys are going to get their points and going to score. Edmonton needs to get it going with their goalie, and which might change. You have to look at that for game 3, not definite, but their bottom 6 has to start doing something because right now it's all Colorado on those third and fourth lines.
If you're the Avs, and that's why you're here to represent that perspective, what is sustainable for them? What do they need to keep doing to make sure that they can finish this series the way that they want?
It's twofold. It's continue to pressure on the offensive end because that is a question mark for Edmonton, is their goalie situation, and they're exploiting that in the first 2 games. And then they've done a very good job shutting down, and I don't mean it just because they had a shutout, but keeping Draisaitl and McDavid. It's the Michael Jordan defense. You can't stop them. You can only hope to contain them. They did that for game 2. It's not reasonable to think they can do it every single game. They will try their best, and they have the defenders to do it. So you just can't let those guys go off, because they can take over a game. So for the Avs, it's continue to force the issue on offense and know where they are on the ice at all times. You have to.
Coming up, if you were a quarterback and could choose your NFL team, the best choice would be the LA Chargers. The reason why is next. I love brownies, but it can be just as good is the brownie batter. Sometimes I'll just look forward to that. Not that I don't want the brownies. Of course I want the brownies, but the batter, the spatula, chef's kiss, literal chef, and potentially literal kiss. And Built has a new creation that recreates that feeling, the brownie batter puff. The brownie batter puff. The puff takes protein bars to a whole new level, and the brownie batter puff takes the puff to yet another level with 17 grams of protein, but just 140 calories and all the taste you could possibly ask for and even more. All Built Puffs are covered in 100% real chocolate, but they deliver on the health benefits you're looking for. Go to Built.com and use promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off your order. That's promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com. Everyone talks about quarterbacks for good reason, but the QB can't do it all. They need a good supporting cast. When looking around the NFL, Alex Clancy of Locked On NFL and Locked On Arizona Cardinals believes the best choice is...
But my answer is the Los Angeles Chargers, and it's not really close because of the improved upon defense, even more so now, okay? Because right. Austin Eckler has really, planted himself in a top 3 running back, especially for fantasy, dual threat. He may be the best, but it's the Chargers, so he doesn't really get all the run. Plus, they have a bunch of options. And then you have Keenan Allen, who I think is the most underrated receiver in football, maybe the best route runner. Mike Williams got all the cheese and all the land this offseason. And I think what they have there is a stable 1 through 22 starting lineup on both sides of the football. So I would take the Chargers.
With all due respect to my friend Alex, who is waist deep in Kyler Murray controversy these days, the Chargers have a good roster. They have a potentially great roster in terms of talent, but they don't have the most complete roster in the league. Now we're quibbling because I think there is one clear, most complete, most talented team, and then I think there is a tier of about 6 or 8 teams that have a claim to be second. And the Chargers are in that category, but the best roster in the league is Buffalo's. From the receivers that they have, the offensive line, and a rising star tight end in Dawson Knox, and then an absolutely loaded defense that just added Von Miller. They were the best defense in the league last year, and they got better. The Bills, until further notice, have the best roster in the league. There are plenty of teams after that. The Chargers are in that crew with the Rams, the Bucks. I think the Packers, despite the loss of Devontae Adams, the Broncos are in the conversation. The Saints are in the conversation, especially if we're taking quarterback out of it. The Chargers are in that next group, but they're not quite all the way at the top. And finally, the NBA has been moving to positionless basketball for a while, and Commissioner Adam Silver knows it. In a press conference before Game 1 of the NBA Finals, Silver said he will be talking with the Players Association about the idea of moving all NBA voting to the 15 best players in the league, regardless of position. With the increased contractual benefits regarding a player's election to the All-NBA team, Silver is cognizant of the effect that limiting the voting to position has. With position restrictions in place, the top 2 players in MVP voting, Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid, cannot both be voted to the All-NBA first team together, at least not without some shenanigans and calling one of them a forward when they're both definitely centers. Thanks for making Locked On Sports today your first listen. Now go make your second listen Locked On NBA. From the first jump ball, the play-in tournament, to the last possession of the finals, Locked On experts take you deep inside the playoffs with insight and analysis affecting all 30 teams. It's free and available wherever you get podcasts. Coming up Monday, will the Warriors even the series? So at least until tomorrow, stay Locked On Sports today.
Locked On Podcast Network and Odyssey present Locked On Sports Today.